Welcome to Sewing with Joy Designs. This is going to be the first in a three-part series where I sew some little Lizard King patterns. Our first will be a Lorne doll dress, and then in the second video we'll sew some Hampstead shorts, and the third video is going to be a little surprise. So make sure you're subscribed so that you can see when that third video comes out. All right, let's get started with this dress. Okay, we're gonna start by doing our ties. Fold the short ends in by 1/4 of an inch. Then we'll fold them in half, or then unfold it and then fold the edges to meet in the middle on that line that you just ironed. And then we will refold that center line. So all the raw edges are inside. Now we'll just top stitch along this long edge, and that will make our ties. Okay, there's our completed ties. We're gonna set these aside for now, and we'll work on our bodice pieces. We'll take one of the front pieces and 2 of the back pieces, and we'll sew shoulder seams. Same with the others. We have 2 sets, a main and a lining, and these are a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, with the shoulder seams sewn, we're gonna press the seams open. Let's take our main bodice piece and we're gonna place our ties. We want this top edge of our tie to be 3/8 of an inch from the top of this back seam. I'm just going to hold it in place with a clip, and we are going to baste these in place. Now we'll take our other lining for our bodice, and we are going to sew the back seam around the neck and back seam, and then we'll move this tie out of the way and sew this line on both sides. Those will be at the ends of our armholes. Now we'll give everything we just sewed a little trim with our pinking shears. And we'll turn it right sides out. And give it a good press. Now we'll sew the side seams. So we'll bring these main pieces together and the lining, and we'll sew right along here with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, we're going to do just a little trim. This we just sewed on both sides. There's the top of our bodice, top of our dress. Set that aside, we work on the skirt. The instructions have you cut the back piece in half. Mine is already cut in half because I didn't have enough to do a continuous piece. So now with these shorter pieces, we're gonna hem the inside edge by folding it a 1/4 of an inch and a 1/4 of an inch, and then sewing right down that line, top stitching. Now we'll sew the back pieces to the front piece with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm going to use a serger to finish the seams since 1/4 of an inch isn't enough seam allowance to do French seams. Okay, I did the side seams. I also serged the bottom to act as a guide for our hemming. So I'm just going to fold right along that serging, fold up again, and press it. Then we can just top stitch right along here to finish the bottom of the skirt. All right, here's our skirt. Now we just need to baste along the top of it to gather it. Since we'll be stitching with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to sew basting lines at like 1/8 and 3/8 of an inch. Basting threads are in. I'm gonna gather it to match the bodice. I'm not gonna do an enclosed seam with this. I'm just gonna sew it to both the main and the lining and then serge it to finish. I've got the skirt all attached. I serged it and then top stitched it up towards the bodice. Now the last thing to do is putting on Velcro. I'm going to cut 1-inch pieces, and this Velcro is 1 inch wide, so I'm just going to cut it in half. Now I can place 1/2 on this side and the other half on this side and sew it down. I'm going to use a little bit of hem tape to make this easier. Now I can just peel the backing off of the hem tape and stick this right where I want it. I'm going to put these together and stick it together like I want it to be. And then it should just be right where I want it. Sew these in place. Here's the completed doll dress. It came together so quickly. The full-size Lorne dress comes together quickly too. And since this one, the seams are so little, it was just so quick to sew up. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Thanks for sewing with me today. Join me in the next video where we'll be sewing up the Hampstead shorts. See you then. Bye.